Now, fresh trouble for Samajwadi Party chief Akhilesh Yadav. Just months before assembly polls, the CBI has filed a second FIR in connection with the alleged irregularities in 1,600 crore Gomti riverfront project. Multiple CBI teams are conducting raids in at least 42 locations in Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan and Kolkata. India Today has learned that CBI has named 189 persons as accused in the case, including 16 public servants, 173 private persons on the basis of findings in preliminary inquiry. Now, a French company named Aquatic is also now named in the FIR. This French company had provided musical fountains for the project. Sources say that searches were also taking place at the premises of 3 chief engineers and 6 superintendent engineers of this project. It was alleged that irregularities were committed in implementation of Gomti River channelization project and Gomti River front development. This comes a major blow for Akhilesh Yadav as it comes just months before the state polls. Now, meanwhile, Delhi Congress stages a protest outside Chief Minister Kejriwal's residence in the national capital. Protesters gathered to demonstrate against the hike in fuel prices, with petrol prices almost touching 100 rupees per litre in Delhi. Hundreds of protesters were part of this agitation. Here are the visuals.
Congress workers are protesting at the residence of Arvind Kejriwal, demanding reduction in VAT rates for petrol and diesel. There are several protesters in unique protest. आप ये यूनिक प्रोटेस्ट करके क्या दिखा? ये यूनिक प्रोटेस्ट नहीं है, ये केजरीवाल की नाकामियां है। केजरीवाल की नाकामियां। केजरीवाल जब दिल्ली की जनता एक्सीडेंट से मर रही थी, आज आप महंगाई बढ़ाकर क्या दिल्ली की जनता को दिखाने जाते हैं? इसमें दिखाने के लिए हमारे गलत है। अपनी नीतियां बदलो, रोको, राहत दो। On one hand, there is an oxygen cylinder in their hand. On the other hand, there is a LPG cylinder, showing that the rates have been increased now. Even senior leaders, Congress leaders are here present, including the Delhi Congress chief, Anil Chaudhary, and Susmita Singh Dev, who is Women Congress president. So, right now the protest is going on at the residence of Arvind Kejriwal, who is Delhi's chief minister, and the Congress workers are demanding the reduction in VAT rates. At least they want that some relief must be given to the common people in view of increased prices. The petrol prices have almost touched ₹100 per litre, and that's why they are demanding relief for the common man. With camera person Premchand Mishra, it's Kumar Kunal for India Today from Delhi.
Now, in the midst of the fuel price hike across the nation, TMC and the BJP have now engaged in a war of words on Twitter. TMC MP from Diamond Harbour, Abhishek Banerjee, has attacked BJP, saying fuel prices hit a historic high. The BJP government seems to be working very hard towards adding to the woes of people, of the public. Now, he further added, not much has changed since June 2020. The same old blame game continues while demands of people of India conveniently ignored. The BJP quoted Abhishek's tweet and reacted that 42% of all taxes has been collected go to the state government. Why hasn't Mamata Banerjee reduced the state levy, which is the highest among all other states? BJP further attacked the TMC's needs, saying that it needs the funds. In fact, it wants it for its syndicates. Petrol prices in Kolkata are set to reach 100 rupees per litre mark in the coming days. The current price of petrol in Kolkata is now at 99.8 rupees per litre, while the price of diesel is 92.3 rupees per litre. The prices in other districts of Bengal, such as Berhampur, Purulia, Jhargram and Krishnagore, has now already crossed 100 rupees per litre mark.
लोगों को तो बहुत दिक्कत हो रहा है। लोगों ने अपना गाड़ी जहाँ 500 फ्यूल करने के जगह में वहाँ 300 कर रहे हैं। इतना परेशानी हो रहा है, और अभी लॉकडाउन का समय है, उन लोग को और परेशानी हो रहा है। कोरोना वायरस का समय है, अभी गाड़ी नहीं चल रहा है, ऊपर से दाम इतना ज़्यादा बढ़ गया है, इतना ज़्यादा दिक्कत हो रहा है कि हम लोग क्या बताएं।
इतना महंगाई है मोदी की सरकार में कि सभी लोग परेशान हैं। ये पेट्रोल का एकदम महंगाई इतना बढ़ गया है कि इंसान को एकदम सर चढ़ कर बोल रहा है। बहुत परेशान है, इतना महंगा है जिसका कोई हिसाब नहीं। इतना नहीं होना चाहिए, लेकिन सरकार को इसके बारे में कुछ सोचना चाहिए। ये पेट्रोल इतना आदमी इतना महंगा भराएगा तो जो मिडिल क्लास के जो लोग हैं, जो रोज़ कमाते खाते हैं, वो लोग कैसे घर चलाएंगे?
The price of petrol is soon to touch the rupees 100 per litre mark. As we can see right here, the price of petrol currently is 99.88 per litre and diesel is at 92.31 per litre here in Kolkata. However, in certain districts like Krishnanagar and other districts in North Bengal and even in South Bengal, the price of petrol has already reached 100 rupees per litre. Now, as far as Kolkata is concerned, it will impact the people more because of the number of people here commuting from one place to another, though many are working from home. For those who have to go to their workplaces and with fewer public transport on the road, it will be a big problem. Now, war of words have broken out between the BJP and the Trinamool Congress, while the BJP had tweeted out on Sunday speaking about this issue, but it was in response to what the Trinamool Congress had said. Abhishek Banerjee had said on Sunday that the people's woes should be looked at because the Narendra Modi government is adding to the people's woes with the rise in the fuel prices, and the BJP had hit back questioning the state government because here 42% of the taxes go to the state coffers, and what is being done as far as the levy is concerned and why that has not been reduced in the state, which is one of the highest. So war of words breaking out here between the BJP and the TMC, even as it is the common man here in Kolkata wondering what needs to be done. With camera person Shyam Sundar Ghosh, Prema Rajaraman, Kolkata for India Today.
Now, in a tragic and a shocking incident that took place at Bihar Sharif Sadar Hospital in Bihar's Nalanda, a man was not provided with a stretcher after his daughter died during treatment at Nalanda Hospital. He was forced to carry the body on his shoulders. The daughter of a daily wage labourer was brought to the government hospital on Sunday after she complained of vomiting and diarrhea, but the situation turned quite critical due to alleged negligence of hospital authorities. When the hospital management did not provide stretcher to the father of the deceased, the helpless father took the dead body of the daughter in his lap, brought it to the ambulance himself. The bereaved father has now levelled negligence charges on the hospital, but the doctor on duty has rubbished these allegations.
स्ट्रेचर तो उन्होंने मांगा नहीं, उन्होंने गोदी में उठा के लेके चला गया। स्ट्रेचर तो यहाँ पे है, मौजूद है, या तो उस वक्त कोई और पेशेंट होगा स्ट्रेचर पे, ये भी हो सकता है। और एम्बुलेंस की बात था तो उन्होंने जब रेफ़र किया था तो उन्होंने जाने से मना कर दिया था और चिल्लाने लगा, पर्ची लेकर उन्हें बाहर चला गया था। यहाँ पे कोई था ही नहीं। फिर देख रहे थे कि पेशेंट की स्थिति बहुत ख़राब है, हमने अपने तरीके से उसे जो ट्रीटमेंट था उन्होंने दिया।
Now, in a startling finding in Jammu and Kashmir air-based drone attack, sources have revealed that RDX and nitrate was found in the half kg IED used in the strike there. The GPS-installed Chinese drone was reportedly used for the attack. Ministry of Home Affairs sources quoted preliminary probe reports has revealed that 2 IED were dropped. In fact, the 2 IEDs were dropped by the drones. One of the IED was bigger than the other one and aimed to target infrastructure itself. The other one with ball bearings and splinters there was aimed to target personnel present at the Air Force station. After 2 explosions within a gap of 5 minutes, which rocked Jammu's IAF station on June 27th, drones have been spotted in the city on 5 occasions. In the wake of the drone threat, security agencies in Jammu have now installed an anti-drone system at the Air Force station. Now, the tussle for water between Tamil Nadu and Karnataka is back in the news again over the construction of a reservoir in Mekedatu. While Yadurappa assured the project will benefit both states, Stalin strongly opposed the plan, calling for it to be scrapped. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin wrote to his Karnataka counterpart, said the project would impact water quota due to Tamil Nadu and the project would affect interests of Tamil Nadu's farmers. B.S. Yadurappa had earlier written to Stalin asking him not to oppose the proposal. He said that the project is bound to benefit both states, that it will not affect Tamil Nadu's farmers, adding that Karnataka will take only its share of water, nothing more. Now, 9,000 crore rupees that was spent on the Mekedatu project remains a long-standing point of friction between the two states. Meanwhile, relaxations in COVID-19 restrictions announced by the Yadurappa government will come into effect from today. Timings of night curfew will also be relaxed from current 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. Now let's take a quick look at what's allowed and what's not. Here's theatres, pubs, educational institutions, colleges that will still remain closed. We're looking at stadiums, swimming pools that will be open but only for training purposes, whereas large congregations, including political, religious gatherings, have been completely prohibited. Now, when it comes to weddings and family gatherings, it's allowed with not more than 100 people. Cremation, funerals, a maximum of 20 people allowed. Now, we're looking at shops, malls, restaurants, which will be open, that will have to adhere to strict COVID protocols, failing which action will be taken under the Disaster Management Act. Relaxations would be in place for the next 15 days in the state. And the last 24 hours, the State Health Department has reported 1,564 fresh cases, 4,775 discharges and 59 deaths.
Positivity rate plunges in Karnataka. Sharp decline in COVID-19 cases. And steady upward curve in recovery rate. BSY government announces further lockdown relaxations in the state from Monday. As per the new guidelines, shops, restaurants, malls and private offices are allowed to operate as per COVID protocols.
We are cleaning the mall and making sure that we are cleaning railing, glass, everything we are doing. Only vaccinated people we have allowed inside the mall. Means who are all the employees, salesmen, security, housekeeping, whoever it is.
All it is sanitized good, and we have kept mask also for customer. Without mask we'll be not allowing customers also, and we have kept a proper sanitization in the store.
We are cleaning the entire store, and even we have done with the sanitizations as well, and we are arranging with our new stocks. So, and we are also following all the social distancing COVID protocols, and even our team is also 100% vaccinated.
While swimming pools, sports complexes and stadiums will be opened only for training purposes. Public transport allowed with full seating capacity. Marriages and family functions are permitted with not more than 100 people. Cremation to be allowed with maximum of 20 people. No gatherings at religious places and only prayers can be offered. Theatres, cinema halls and pubs will remain closed. All social, political and religious activities are prohibited. Educational institutions and colleges to also remain closed until further orders. Meanwhile, night curfew will continue from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. and the latest relaxations and restrictions will be in place for the next 15 days. Bureau Report, India Today.
Now, everyone needs a vaccine passport. It's all set to become the most sought-after document in the world now, all for the love and need for international travel. But the process of incorporating this in our system is not going to be that easy. In fact, far from it. Sneha Murdani lists out the possibilities of the possible problems here.
One and a half years ago, all you needed was a visa and an air ticket to fly out of the country. Planning to go abroad now? A vaccine certificate will also be needed. The European Union is asking for it. So are nations like Israel. A vaccine passport could well be a necessity of the future. For now, it's still work in progress. It could be in the form of a stamp or a certificate. Whatever form it comes in, what is clear is that incorporating it in the system will see many challenges. In days to come, these vaccine certificates will come in various forms, digital, physical or just a barcode. But introducing it in the passport system would mean a longer processing time. Having it within an app may not be feasible for all. Paper certificates run the risk of ending up in fraud.
Paper forms are being widely used, they are very convenient, but they carry with them the risk of duplication and forgery. The other option being discussed is that of a mobile app. But this again assumes that everyone has access to a smartphone, which is not the case.
Affordability, procedures and privacy issues will make vaccine passports difficult to implement is what experts are saying. To top it all, airports and airlines are working independently with international air travel associations to have some sort of a digital pass. Then countries also working in isolation, and there is lack of uniformity when it comes to the World Health Organization, because the World Health Organization has said, as of now, vaccine passports are not required. The process has become even more complicated, with some vaccines not accepted by countries. The European Union initially rejected Serum Institute's Covishield. Many countries are still to recognize Covaxin. With many more vaccines on the horizon, the issue will only get further complicated.
The vast majority of individuals in low and middle income countries can't access vaccines. It might create an immunity-based class system where the individuals who haven't been able to access vaccination now can't access areas, and geographic areas are closed off to them.
What is clear is that international travel is bound to normalize sometime in the near future to pre-COVID levels, which means nations will have to arrive at an acceptable solution very quickly to end the suspense for travelers. In New Delhi, Sneha Murdani for India Today.
Now, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson will be all set for plans to final step of easing lockdown in England today. The plan will also include guidance on social distancing, face coverings and working from home. The legal restrictions to prevent the spread of COVID-19 are due to be lifted on the 19th of July, and decision on the go-ahead is scheduled for 12th of July. Johnson is expected to stress that people will in fact learn to live with COVID as they do already with the flu. This implies that hospitalizations, serious illness and deaths will continue, but at a much lower level than before the widespread vaccination drive began. Data shows that Britain has vaccinated 86% of adults receiving the first dose and 64% receiving 2 doses so far. Now, the Delta variant has now come as a concern. That's led to a surge in the number of cases and delayed easing of lockdown by 4 weeks. Now, the partially collapsed Miami area condo in Florida was fully demolished on Sunday. The action was taken after 24 people died in the partial collapse. Search and rescue efforts currently underway with 121 people still missing. Has been now all preparations for controlled demolition drive, but it will be resuming again. Residents in the nearby buildings there were told that they do not need to evacuate but should stay indoors and turn off air conditioning due to the dust there. Ahead of the demolition drive, a crowd gathered along the nearby street to witness this event. The move to demolish the partially collapsed building was considered urgent because of the approach of the storm Elsa, which is likely to hit Florida soon. Now, continuous rains has caused rescue works to temporarily halt search and rescue operations after huge mudslides swept away houses in central Japan. 2 people have died, about many others still remain missing. More on that.
Japanese rescue efforts were hampered on Sunday by ongoing weather concerns after fatal landslides caused by torrential rains hit the country over the weekend. That's according to local Kyoto news agency, which added that on Saturday, about 130 buildings in the central city of Atami were affected by floods, landslides and cascading mud. One resident, 55-year-old Naoto Date, says he's never seen such devastation before.
We had minor landslides in the past, decades ago. However, this is the first time we've had a disaster on such a scale that the Self-Defense Forces and rescue crew from Tokyo's Fire and Disaster Department needed to come. Usually, even if there is a disaster, it could just be handled by the local fire department. Even my mother said that we have never had such a big landslide before.
Some 700 people, including police, firefighters and the military, were deployed on rescue missions. But their operations were interrupted by more rain and threats of landslides. Kyoto reported, however, that teams successfully evacuated nearly 400 people as of Sunday morning. Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga told people in affected areas to remain on alert and continue to take precautions.
Coming up next,